Okay, folks. Well, in the last video, I spoke about Union and Confederate kind of opening plans, what they want to achieve. And I mentioned how the Union in particular want to secure West Virginia as quickly as possible. That has long been the case in the previous editions of the US Civil War. In the first edition, the second edition, there was more to do, but basically you wanted to secure West Virginia, remove the possibility of the Confederates reinforcing Charleston and creating long-term issues in this area. My understanding is that, again, from many of those videos on YouTube, if the Confederates are allowed to build up in West Virginia, it just becomes a massive headache for the Union and have to divert a lot of forces out here. So the Union wants to capture Charleston, defended by a single militia, as quickly as possible. So I'm thinking, sure, that's what I'll do. But easier said than done. McClellan only has 2 SPs here in Grafton. The rail line through Cumberland begins controlled by the Confederates. And now I don't think that's been the case in previous editions. Previously, the Union could rail troops through the Allegheny Mountains. They can't do so anymore. This SP here projects a zone of influence onto this rail line, making it more difficult. There's only 3 Union SPs in West Virginia, and they're facing off against, plus the militia, but they're facing off against the 1 SP and the militia in Charleston. Yes, they outnumber the Confederates, but it's certainly no walk in the park. Now, if I want to run through my thinking here. If I want McClellan to capture Charleston as quickly as possible, he's going to need more forces to be assured of victory. 2-1 is simply not going to be good enough. Looking at the combat results table, 2-1, okay, rolling on a 2, I've got a 1 in 3 chance of scoring a hit. On the 1, the Confederates have a 1 in 6, but that's it's a good chance of a tie. More importantly, the Union really wants to eliminate this SP. So I've been thinking, well, how do I get more troops into this area? And looking out in the west here, you've got an SP in Cincinnati and an SP in Columbus. And I've been looking at the rail lines as well. So maybe I could rail using strategic redeployment. Rail 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I could rail an SP out to here. McClellan could then quite easily come and pick that up and consolidate a larger force. I'm not too afraid of moving this force out of Parkersburg, so they could quickly shift across to here as well. And there's also an SP in Columbus, 1, 2, 3, 4. Or they can move along the top route, or it's a lot harder to go all the way around. But they could join 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and end. I believe they actually end in McClellan's space, so they could quite easily join with McClellan. But there's a long-term issue of Cumberland across the mountains here. And I'm thinking, well, do I try to grab that town and consolidate that important rail link east-west through towards Harper's Ferry? McClellan could do it. He could go 1, 2, 3 and then control it for 4. But does he do it with 1 SP? What if could Patterson get involved? Patterson has 3 SP facing off against Johnson with 2. He could send really 1 SP. Yeah, 1 SP could reach 1, 2, 3. Just moving across the mountains there. I think I need to double check the movement rules, obviously. But yeah, there's 2 things here. I need McClellan to have a larger force in West Virginia to have a better chance in battle against that 1 SP. 2 versus 1 is not enough. And then to be able to move on Charleston and quickly remove that militia. Now, if I can outnumber this militia 4-1, they are immediately displaced. There's no battle. It's kind of like an overrun rule in this title. So straight away, before I've done anything, there are all these broader operational considerations that I'm tossing up in my head. It's already a kind of really difficult decision. This opening move is critical. The opening move for many of these games is so important. So I've just been looking at it, staring at it, thinking, what's the best way to get this done as quickly as possible? If I make a mistake, if I just sort of move south with McClellan and attack this 1 SP, and I mean, there's a good chance that the Confederates could win that battle. If they roll a 4 or more and the Union rolls a 2 or less, actually no, because there's going to be some modifiers as well for McClellan. But yeah, there's a chance the South could win that battle, which is a waste of McClellan's resources. And would just slow me down even further. And again, there's only 3 action points, and I want Charleston by the end of the first turn. So basically, you've got three turns to capture Charleston. That's my primary focus. So how do I get it done in 3 turns? What do I do? Do I send the options again? Columbus, Cincinnati SPs, the Parkersburg SP. There's 3 potential there. I mean, this one can just walk across, as I said. Depending on what I roll as well. So I haven't even rolled the dice yet to see what the dice differential are and how many actions I'll get on this first turn. It may be that I only get 1 action on this first turn. I may get 4 or 5 actions on this first turn. If I get 5, maybe I can do, all of the above and bring all these resources together. I think it's game. I'm not a single die roll. I haven't done anything, and already I'm kind of torn apart with these decisions, which I love. And just the kind of fascinating process of working through those decisions was really, it was really interesting. And I thought I'd pause and share and kind of convey the sense of kind of what you're thinking about on a typical, or maybe not typical, maybe it's just a very important first turn. Clearing rail lines, bringing your forces together, and setting yourself turn-oriented priorities. So as I said, first turn, Union wants to capture Charleston, and as I'm thinking about how to get that done within the 3 actions available, 3 action cycles, that is. Okay, so I'll keep stewing about this, and I will, as I said, report back and let you know how this all went.